Veterans, the heroes who fight for our country. They risk their lives, return with injuries, emotional trauma, and some pay the ultimate price. But for the families and for those who do return, how do we honor them? Are veterans' benefits enough to sustain the stress of a soldier? Let's find out if we truly believe that there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. This is CounterPoint with Gerard McClendon. Thank you for joining us on CounterPoint. We want you to join the conversation by calling us at 844-777-9311. Hey, tweet me at GerardMC and send Facebook comments to CounterPoint Gerard. Joining me at CounterPoint today is Akili Shakur from Boots to Books, also James Flagg and Keiston Franklin from Warrior Summit. Welcome, you three.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on CounterPoint. You know what? Let's just loosen things up first by just asking you this question. Do soldiers, after they return, do they really need any help? They're soldiers. Talk to me, any of you.
I think the obvious answer is without a doubt, yes. First and foremost, whether it's help with transitioning themselves back to civilian society or preparing their families or their children or dependents, that's a transition in itself. And when you consider other facets, VA benefits, employment, education, there are a number of resources available.
Yeah, this is good. James, let me go to Keiston just quickly. Keiston, what benefits have you seen directly come out of Warrior Summit for soldiers?
For soldiers, educational components, dealing with pretty much everything that a veteran needs to, I guess, reacclimate
themselves
to generally life in general. Meaning that by that, if a veteran comes out military, life is different. Yeah. You have a military culture ingrained, you're fast paced, you have a specific job, you're doing what you're told to do. When you come back on the civilian side, there's no one there to say, oh, hey, you have to do this. So Warrior Summit Coalition specifically helps veterans, one, give it a little more focus to what they're doing, give them a little more camaraderie and civilian, I guess, guidance for some of the veterans who've previously left combat or active military and then have adjusted for that. So,
let's talk about that adjustment and go to Akili Shakur. Akili.
Yes.
From Boots to Books. First of all, I love the name. That's powerful stuff there. From tell us what you do, Akili. What's going on with that?
Well, at Purdue, started in about 2009 when we first saw the first wave of individuals coming back from Iraq. The question became, what do we have to offer for the students that were coming to the campus and what kind of support would they need? So we gave it thought, and I thought, it was very hard for these individuals coming back because I remember I grew up after the Vietnam War, so I remember when I was in college, they had a lot of Vietnam veterans trying to use benefits.
Tough transition.
A terrible transition.
The Vietnam War, I mean, we lost tens of thousands of troops. After Vietnam, it was a disaster when it came to veterans benefits. What was it like?
Oh, it was terrible. They were very limited on what they were offering. And there was no one at the universities that actually were working with them the way we do now. They would have veteran groups of veterans who actually had served and they try and support each other. But to have somebody help you transition into being a civilian, there's a difference,
Yes.
You can be military over here because that culture is made for that type of job that you would have to do. But to transition back into being a civilian, you really need a civilian to help you do that.
Okay, so you need a civilian to help you do that. Akili, let's keep going. So, from boots to
boots to books.
What does that mean?
When you come out the military and you decide that you want to use your educational benefits, when you come to me, we sit down on a one-on-one and we decide what it is that you actually want to do in terms of your benefits. We help you figure out which way you want to go academically. We support you if you need housing. Say you have a family and you want to come to Purdue and you can't stay in the dorms because we don't have family dorms. Then we go out, we help find you housing. If your car breaks down and it's impeding you from being able to get to school, we actually go out, put our resources together, get your car fixed, or try to get you another one.
Okay, so what I'm finding out from Boots to Books is that you're literally the boots on the ground when people come back stateside. This is for real.
Yes.
Because I'm a professor at Chicago State University, and we have a lot of former soldiers. We have lots of vets who have entered into educational programs at Chicago State. Some of the best teachers in the world are veterans. When it comes to classroom management, no problems whatsoever. I want to read a comment just quickly. Jonathan Kirk, this was from a Forbes magazine article. Jonathan Kirk, veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom, sergeant in the United States Marine Corps, he says, "It is an experience that is incredibly difficult to understand and describe." He's talking about returning. Before you understand what a returning soldier experiences when they come home, you have to know what they really go through when they are over there. James, talk to me about this, man. First of all, catalog your service, and let's talk about what it's like to return back to stateside.
So Warrior Summit Coalition, I often joke, is the Department of Veterans Affairs' best kept secret. As we all know,
Second best.
Hey,
I was gonna say second to who?
Right.
No low intensity conflicts or wars on this set, all right? So talk to me. The two of you consider yourselves tied today.
There we go.
Okay?
All right. So with the Department of Veterans Affairs, we have a great relationship with them, and it's all about providing that transition care and that transition management. First and foremost, to the quote that you just read, it couldn't be more spot on. Each soldier's transition is going to be different. Keiston's transition is different from mine. Miss Akila's daughter's transition is going to be different from mine. So we all have very unique needs, unique services that we require when we transition. So our goal at Warrior Summit Coalition is to partner with the VA to help the veteran not only understand which benefits are available in their area, but also connect and access those resources in as seamless of a way possible.
Go catalog your service right quick.
So my service, I started off in the Illinois National Guard, and I was activated after 2 years in the Illinois National Guard to an active duty Army unit. I did 18 months of active duty, and upon a completion of active duty, I ended up in the reserves. So I've done the reserves, active, and Illinois National Guard.
8 years, 10 years?
8 years total, yes, sir.
This is amazing.
Yes, sir.
Keiston, let's go to your service.
Yep.
Currently, you're active.
Active with the Illinois National Guard, yes. Just came off of active duty February last year. So I'm in the midst of that transition of active going to the Guard, which is still a little different, but I don't have that 365-day, 24-hour sergeant over me all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Keiston, any stories that you can point to, you don't have to mention names, where the veteran comes back and Warrior Summit services were instrumental in that soldier's transition?
Yes. There was a story with the veteran decided to come to Chicago because they wanted to explore employment here, and then also maybe some of the educational institutions that we have. And they're like, wow, I know I have benefits. I have this internship here in Chicago. How do I connect with some of the other guys just to talk about some of the things I went through? So we just, James connected a young gentleman with the SVA at the school, the university they were with, and some of the other organizations. We went out to a couple of sports events and actually had a very casual conversation about some of the benefits that they have after figuring out what it was that they want to do. I think the gentleman was maybe 2 or 3 weeks in the city of Chicago. We're at a Cubs game.
Wow.
So
that's powerful. That's powerful stuff. I want to read another comment from this soldier, Jonathan Kirk Davis, the Marine. You need Now you need to consider the war side of things, he says. In the best case scenario, you are under the constant threat of surprise attack. He's thinking about this even after he returned home. He said car bombs, roadside bombs, suicide bombers, mortars. You might kill people. You might lose friends. But I won't get into what it's like for those cases. They are pretty tough to nail down and can vary wildly. Now, none of us here are medical doctors, but I'm sure you've seen some situations that have been harrowing. Talk to me, Akili, when it comes to transitioning, when it comes to keeping a veteran in school, have there been challenges?
There has been challenges. There is challenges. There'll always be challenges. When we started this program, I think that what played on my heart the most was that we had a young man that had attended the university prior to going into the military. He came home, he tried to get back into the swing of things of school, and then we got word that he had tried to commit suicide. And that tore my heart out because I knew this young man prior to him going in the military. And so it was at that point, I guess you would say, the epiphany that we need to really do some things and put some real things in place because, like I said, I'm thinking about when I came through school, there was nothing that was addressing, there was no such thing as PTSD. There was no name for these type of things that they have now. And if we don't address them now, you know, you always worry. People look at veterans or military, and of course they say, thank you for serving. But in the back of their heads, you know, the back of their minds, they're thinking, now, let me see, if you actually, did you deploy? If you deploy, there's automatically a mindset that in the back you want to ask, okay, what did you do? Where did you go? You know, what did you see? And that can be very unsettling and it's insincere. And so you have to be careful because individuals who really are in need, they have medical issues that's not of their doing. You know, we've got one young man, he graduated, you know, we were really proud of him, but he has traumatic brain injury. He's gonna have that forever. You know, so these are things that, and it doesn't show, these are the hidden wounds that you never see, but individuals suffer from it.
Yeah, we want to talk about these hidden wounds after the break, and I want to go back to what this soldier was struggling with as well from the Forbes magazine article. Do you appreciate your freedom? Have you thanked a veteran lately? It's time for We the People. So on Facebook, Corlin Robinson says, yes, veterans that do 8 to 20 years of service, they should have reduced taxes, free health care, housing, and child care after they leave the service. Johnny Tankley says, I went to school on the GI Bill, Gerard. Thank God for my service and thank God for the U.S. Army. Mary Hansberry says, soldiers give everything, therefore they deserve everything. Tweet me, post on Instagram, or send me a message on Facebook. Let's start the conversation. Your voice is important on CounterPoint. Welcome back to CounterPoint. Hey, we're talking about our veterans and if they receive proper respect and services when they return from the call of duty. I have Akili Shakur from Boots to Books and James Flagg and Keyston Franklin from Warrior Summit. Hey, thank you so much for staying with me over the break. Let's get into the down and dirty. So I've got relatives who have gone to the service. They've benefited greatly from the benefits after coming back stateside. They've gone to school. They've had wonderful opportunities. James, let me come to you with this. What is Warrior Summit's biggest asset? What do you think that service or that product is that Warrior Summit gives to someone who comes back from a war?
So our mission statement, Warrior Summit Coalition's mission statement, is to increase the number of veterans enrolled in VA benefits, and that could be a multitude of things. Our biggest asset in connecting veterans with those benefits, be it education, housing, employment, emotional or mental health, and things of that nature, comes in the form of our annual event that we're hosting nationwide called the Welcome Home Warrior Summit. So every VA in the country that services veterans is required to host a Welcome Home event for returning service members. The challenge with that, many veterans after military service don't want to be involved with the military or the VA, and on top of that, they don't know about the services that are available.
Okay, wait a minute. Why don't they want to be involved?
Well, that's an interesting question in itself.
And I know it's an individual question
and
too.
I'm gonna answer personally.
Okay.
After putting up with 8 years of being told what to do, where you're being voluntold, and for the military folks, they completely understand that, where your decision making is very limited and you're not allowed to think individually, that becomes very taxing on the mind and on the body. And then you throw in a few deployments overseas, away from your friends and family. So by the time you get out, unless you're planning on staying in a career, you hit the ground running, because all you want to do is get back to the civilian side, be with your family and be with your friends. In many cases, even with myself, when I got ready to make that transition out of the military, I said, if I don't get myself together on the civilian side, I am always going to have to subject myself to the rigors of being in the military. So that was something I personally wanted to do, square my civilian life away so I wouldn't have to rely on the military service.
The two of you, why wouldn't somebody want to take the benefits from what the three of you offer? Any other comments?
Well, sometimes they just don't know about it. It's not that they don't want to take it, because if you say, hey, we can help you get a house, or hey, we can help you with transportation or give you employment at no cost to you, why no one would turn it down?
Don't believe it.
They just don't know about it.
But there's that other side.
What's the other side?
We're gonna.
Akili, what's the other side?
The other side of that is that individuals who have been institutionalized in terms of the military, you know that if you belong to Uncle Sam, you're gonna have a roof over your head. Yeah. You're going to eat. If you break a fingernail, somebody's going to come and find you and figure out why you didn't show up for PT. When you're transitioning back out here, nobody cares if you break a fingernail. Nobody's going to come and wake you up. So it's a mindset that you have to get out of that. And that's what the culture of the military is. It's so all-encompassing. You feel like there's, you have this group and, you all got each other's back, even for whatever level. But when you're out here, you don't know who has your back. And you're competing with individuals who made a choice to go to college or to go into the workforce. We don't have a draft anymore. You made a choice to go into the military. So now you don't have the same outlook as you did when people were being drafted.
This is frightening, because this is something I notice quite a bit. It upsets me when wounded vets who can't get to services, that frustrates me when I see a wounded vet without an arm, without a leg, when I see a wounded vet who's homeless. And in war, when you're injured, your comrades come back and get you to the medevac, all right? But when you're in the streets of Chicago or New York, there's no medevac, and that frustrates me. How do we go get them? Talk to me, James.
Man, that's a pretty profound statement.
And it's clear that the three of you are trying to go get them.
Yes.
But how do we go get them?
It starts with self-identification. A lot of people after military service, regardless of their experience, they just want to go and go on with the rest of their lives. They don't want to identify as veterans. So the first thing is finding where the veterans are, and more importantly, as military service members, we have a certain aura of pride about us. We've served honorably. We've been through some of the most treacherous situations without, asking for a finger or a favor to help us out. But when we come back, we're expected to go out and seek out these services. So the pride factor is, I've saved dozens of lives overseas. Now I have to come back and ask and almost beg for support. So that's part of the challenge. A lot of people don't self-identify. So what we did as student veterans, we realized that veterans go one or two places when they transition back. They either go to work or they go to school to utilize their GI Bill benefits. So we found the best way was to access the veterans on the college campuses or in their stable work environments.
This is powerful. I'm getting a little emotional right now because I have veterans in my family. Whenever I see anything that represents some sort of conflict where American soldiers are being killed or are being under fire, it hurts my heart because I'm like, wow, you know, here's Gerard who's going to the local Starbucks to get a cup of coffee. Meanwhile, someone else is overseas, you know, in a trench or in a very precarious, dangerous place so they can protect Gerard stateside, who's going to get a double latte. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of that double latte, I want to go to Akili on this. Akili, you have a daughter.
Yes.
Tell me about your daughter's service.
I'm so proud of her. Jasmine, she's got 3 years to go before she will have her 20 years in. She's done 5 deployments. I feel like I've done 5 deployments with her.
You have.
Yes.
You have.
Yes,
You've
you
been
have.
right there.
The whole family's deployed, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you know, it's good that you say that because one of the components we leave out a lot of times when we're talking about veterans are the children of the veterans. You know, the spouses, you kind of, you know, we have a different seat. But children of veterans, and people are coming back home and they've got children, and when they left, perhaps the baby wasn't born yet, and you come home, now there's a baby in the house. I had a student came home, his wife, you know, she had the baby while he was deployed. Okay, it's his baby. So he comes home and he's hitting the floor running like you guys are saying. Yeah. He's gonna work 8 hours a day. Yeah. He's gonna play with his baby. He's got his wife. He's only been home 2 weeks. And oh, by the way, and he's going to go to school full time.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, I had to pull him to the side and say, excuse me, what time do you sleep? That's the first thing. Yeah. When the baby cries, you have not been on the ground back in the States 2 weeks. When the baby cries, what are you going to do when you're jarred out of your sleep in the middle of the night?
It's a different story.
Let's talk about this real. Let's talk about what's real and what you can do and what's not going to happen.
Right. Akili, your daughter was deployed where?
Let's see, she did Kuwait, Afghanistan, Iraq, Korea, and I think another Iraq. I think she's got 2 Iraqs, 1 Kuwait, 1 Afghanistan, and 1 Korea.
Yeah, see, your family's invested. You know, I want to go to Keiston just quickly. Keiston, why did you choose to go to the service? What was the reason?
Ooh. Well, my family, service members in my family, first
Really?
off. So I have a history with that. Stepbrother side, uncle side, cousins, and I live in a wonderful country. I've always been taught to, you know, respect your family, your elders. It doesn't matter if it's nuclear family or not, and then just give honor to the country that gives you, you know, safety. And so, when I was 18, came to university, and it was like, well, let me see what I can do. So I joined. I did a little bit of college prior to that, and then joined the military, and I was like, wow, yeah. So that was the reason why. I wanted to respect my family. I wanted to respect the country because I think it's a wonderful place. And this was during the time of 9/11, after 9/11 happened, and I wanted to do my part. So.
Man, I want to do my part. I did it for family. I live in a wonderful country. Dude, you got me tearing up over here, man. And you know what, Keiston? I feel safe around you right now.
Well, I don't feel too safe. I'm still military.
I feel safe, man.
Right.
No, see, but that's what it's all about, you know? And when people start condemning the United States of America, and we have some serious flaws in this country. We really do. There's still racism, sexism, classism, all kind of isms, all right? But you know what? As Ken Hamlin, the radio host, used to say, he wrote a book called Pick a Better Country. So you got people saying, I don't like the United States. United States racist, United States sexist. I don't see you buying a plane ticket out of this country.
There's a globe.
I don't see you trying to get citizenship elsewhere. The key is to make it best. I want to just three quick statements from the 3 of you. Why do you do the service that you do, James?
I do it because it's necessary. I don't want to see my brothers and sisters in arms going to jail, becoming homeless, or committing suicide because of lack of resources. So it's our goal to put those resources at the forefront of those transitions to prevent those atrocities from happening.
Yes, Akili, why? Why do you
It's
do
a
this work?
contract. The government made a contract with individuals, and that contract needs to be fulfilled. So whatever it is that they sign on the dotted line for, you owe it to them, give it to them.
I hear that.
Wow, I like that. Oh, I'm loving that.
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah, they work for it. Yes, Keyston, why do you do this work, man?
Yeah, my first MOS was a medic in the military, so we always want to protect the brothers and sisters. So it's the same thing on the civilian side. I want to protect them here and give them the opportunity to live their life. So
That's for real, man. Man, you know what? I want to thank my guests today, Akili Shakur, James Flagg, and Keyston Franklin, for joining me here at the Counterpoint. This is serious. I command you to give a veteran of the armed forces a hug today. Thank them for their service and work toward appreciating how they risk their life for you. Freedom isn't free. My brother, my father, uncle, father-in-law, nephew, and many of my cousins have served this country. I thank them and every veteran for their sacrifice. I want to thank you for watching Counterpoint this evening with Gerard McClendon. Call me at 844-777-9311. Tweet me at GerardMC and send Facebook comments to Counterpoint Gerard. Stay positive. Hey, always keep your head up and always be encouraged to voice your counterpoint. Have a great week.